Good morning, people of YouTube. Today we got something a little bit different than what you guys are used to seeing from me. We're not going to be working on the E30, nor are we going to be working on the Mark II, nor doing any sort of build stuff. Today we got some freaking detailing. In a past life, I used to be like a semi-professional detailer. I ran my own detailing business on the side, and I worked at a dealership doing detailing stuff. So today we need to work on ceramic coating a beautiful piece of machinery that is sitting in front of me. We're ceramic coating this beautiful 1978 Ford F-100. Now this is not my truck, this is actually my girlfriend's truck. She picked it up about 2 years ago. And this thing is mint, literally. The paint is like a mint color and it's in really good shape. And for the longest time she's been asking me to ceramic coat it, and I haven't had time, or then I forget about it and blah blah blah, but finally today I have to do it. Now the first thing that needs to happen is I need to wash this thing because it's covered in dust. And then I can work on giving you guys some how-tos on how to ceramic coat your car, because it's a lot easier than you would think, and it's a lot cheaper than having a professional do it, because professionals, they can charge upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 for a ceramic coating. So let's work on getting this pig soaked down and rinsed off, and then we'll go from there. Actually, I lied. You're always going to want to start with washing your wheels and tires first, because when you use the brush, you start to kick up a bunch of contaminants, and then when you rinse, you're going to kick up a bunch of contaminants, and you don't want all that, dirty crap going on your fresh, clean paint. So get some stuff sprayed down onto your wheels and tires, and then let that soak for a couple minutes, and then come through with a brush and then, brush it off and get all the gunk out of these things, and then you're good to freaking go. And just a reminder, I mean, I know you see all those like professional detailers on TikTok and YouTube and stuff, and they got all those little tiny brushes like getting into all the nooks and crannies. You don't really need that. I mean, yes, they do come in handy for getting like the little cracks and nooks and crevices, but if we're just weekend warriors out here and we just want to have a nice clean truck to take to the car show or what have you, a simple brush from Walmart like this one will do the trick. Now it's time to rinse them down. All right, so now we have the wheels cleaned and rinsed down. It's time to rinse off the paint, and then we'll start to do the foam cannon and all that fun stuff. Now, some people will say, oh no, don't use a foam cannon on like an older vehicle, because obviously all the seals and stuff like that, you don't know the strength of those and if they're gonna be watertight. Since I've cleaned this truck a couple times with the foam cannon, I know that it's watertight and I know that nothing's gonna get on the interior, so I'm gonna use a foam cannon. So this here is Sadistic Suds from Avalon King. Now, I really like it because of one of two things. One, it smells really good, and two, you don't need a lot of it to produce really thick foam. It's very user-friendly. Like, it has a really nice glide on the paint. Like, it's very lubricious, I don't know. It lubes up the paint real good. It's also important to note that you don't absolutely need a foam cannon. You can do this with just a simple bucket wash method, but I like to use the foam cannon because it kind of makes it more fun. And when it comes to foam cannons, you don't need a fancy one. Like, you can just use anything from Amazon. Obviously, they're not going to produce like really thick foam that you see on like professional detailer videos. This is a fancy one. This is like an $80 foam cannon, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's like an MTM foam cannon, and it produces really nice foam, but it's not necessarily necessary for a weekend warrior like ourselves. I'm having some technical difficulties with my foam cannon, so that's a good sign that you don't need the fancy one, because sometimes the fancy one even sucks. It's not going to be like really thick foam, unfortunately, but it will be foam nonetheless. I think the issue that's happening with the foam cannon is there's something stuck in like the pickup tube of the foam cannon, but I don't really feel like dealing with it right now. So I don't know, still put foam down, and on that one side when it was actually kicking, that foam was super thick and beautiful, but we're not professionals here. We're semi-professionals. We're just weekend warriors. We'll get it done. So what you're going to want to do now is get yourself a wash mitt from Avalon King, and then you're going to want to give yourself a little glug of the good sauce, and then fill this bucket up, and then get to freaking washing this thing down. Woo! Now this ain't a necessary step in the process, but also while you're doing everything, you're going to want to get absolutely covered in all the water. You know, you want to be one with the wash process. And since this is the side that's currently hitting the sun right now, we're going to rinse this side off just so the soap doesn't dry onto the paint. Typically, you'll want to use a 2-bucket wash method, 1 bucket with your clean soap, and then 1 bucket where you rinse off the dirty towel. But I didn't have a second bucket with me here today, so we just got to make do with what we got. And don't worry about it anyway, because we're polishing the truck, so any, marring that I do leave on the truck, we're going to polish it out anyway. So now that we have the whole truck washed and rinsed down, what we're going to do now is we're going to re-foam cannon it. We're going to re-coat it with foam again, because that's how I'm going to clay bar it. Automotive paint is actually porous. There's pores in the paint where they open, expand, close, and when that happens, you actually get debris trapped inside of the paint, and that can really, cause issues when it comes to like the gloss and depth and clarity of your car's paint. So what you want to do is take some sort of clay. There's actual literal clay that you rub on the paint, or there's this synthetic, that's really hard to say. There's this synthetic clay that you can actually use. A lot of people will use like a quick detailer or like some sort of clay lube, but I actually like to use my foam cannon, especially with the Sadistic Sud, since it's so like lubey. I really like it. So naturally, since you're rubbing something onto the car's paint, you're gonna leave behind some level of marring. So if you have no intentions of polishing your car, you're not really gonna want to use a clay bar. Well, you might want to, but just know that you're gonna leave some scratches behind and some level of marring. So that's why it's really important to get a clay bar. Or sorry, no, I misspoke. That's why you're gonna want to polish afterwards. And you might be wondering, like, how do I know that I've, got all the crap out of the paint? You can feel it. Like when there's stuff in the paint, it's really gritty and it's not smooth. And you can hear it when you're rubbing it across. It kind of has like a gritty sound to it. Once you get all that crap off to it, it's going to have a nice, smooth sound. Like there's not going to be really much noise coming from the clay bar. See, of course, now the foam cannon wants to freaking cooperate. Look at how thick that shaving foam cream is, dude. Look at that. I love it. In my eyes, this is a lot more convenient than going panel by panel with a quick detailer or some sort of clay lube. You just kind of do it all in one go and then rinse off and then dry, and then you're all good to start polishing. It's all up to your personal preference though. Like it doesn't necessarily matter. There is no one right way to do it. Some people don't want to spend $2,000 on a freaking professional detail. We're just gonna make it look good so Sally and Sue at the local diner see your truck going by and they're gonna say, wow, that's a beautiful truck. You also don't really want to put any pressure down while you're clay barring, because that's just going to lead to more scratches. So you're just kind of gliding it across the surface. You're not really putting any sort of pressure down. You're just letting the soap, the lube do its work, and the clay bar do its job. We're just having a good time. We're soaking wet, we're covered in soap, we got freaking cream and foam, and we're just having fun. Look at me, I'm freaking covered in freaking soap, dude. I look like a dork. I'm also getting really hungry. If you guys are watching this, you know, when you guys are watching this, it's gonna be my birthday. So I think we're going out to a birthday dinner here today, and I'm gonna be super stoked on that. I think I wanna go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Let me put you guys on. Buffalo Wild Wings is queso. Dip your fries in the queso. It is one of the best combinations of, dude, it's so good. Just trust me, get a burger, get some French fries, and get a side of queso and dip your fries in the queso, and you guys, you're gonna thank me later. Ooh. Ooh. We don't want this to hit the ground. That was a good catch. Like, check out Sadistic Suds, man. Like, look at that. That's sick. We got back from dinner, we ran out of sunlight, so now we gotta pull the truck into the garage and then start to actually polish this truck. So we're just gonna use a very basic polishing pad that I've picked up at Walmart, so anybody can go do this. Go pick this up at Walmart and you can start polishing. Now before you start polishing, you're gonna wanna actually prime your pad, so what that means is get some product into the pad and work it in there, because you don't wanna just go in raw. Like in most things in life, going in raw is just gonna cause a lot of issues. So just give yourself some little dots, bam, 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 maybe bam. So when you're actually polishing, you're gonna want to start at level 1 and work the product into the paint. And then once you get it all worked in, then you're gonna go to like a 3 or 4 speed on your polisher. It really depends on your polisher. So now we have all the product spread out. So now we're gonna bump it up to a 4 and then continue to work it into the paint. Done yet? I'm ready to be done. So this is one thing that I don't think I mentioned, but you can't use the whole polishing pad for the entire truck, especially if you're doing something on like a single stage paint. You're gonna get a dirty pad. So eventually you're gonna wanna get rid of this pad and you're gonna wanna put on a new one, because then that way, you know, you lose your polishing power once the pad gets all gunked up and gross. See, new pad, old pad. It's not gonna do much if it's all looking like that and crusty and stinky and smelly. You want it nice and fresh. All right, so here in this bottle is an IPA solution. I diluted it down. The reason why you want to use an IPA is after you polish, you're going to leave a bunch of like wax and grease behind on the paint, and you don't want anything in between the ceramic coating and the paint. And with this IPA solution, you don't want to spray it directly on the panel. You want to spray it on a towel and then just do a simple, quick wipe. All right, so now that we have the paint all prepped and sprayed down and ready to go for the ceramic coating, I guess it's time to just do the ceramic coating. Now, I always get a little bit nervous when I'm doing the ceramic coatings, but honestly, they're really, really easy. And that's why I like the Avalon King's The Goat. It's very user-friendly. It's a professional grade, but it's very DIY. We'll be all good. It's really important that you shake these bottles up a ceramic coating just because, you know, they've been sitting on shelves, you know, and they've been going through transport, and they just need a little bit of shake up. Now, before you apply the ceramic coating, you're going to want 3 things: an applicator pad and 2 towels. One towel is for leveling the ceramic coating, and then the other towel is for buffing out and make sure that there's no high spots left of the ceramic coating. All right, so now we got gloves, we're good to go. So the thing that you want to do with this applicator pad is you're going to want to prime it. So just kind of, you know, get some product on the pad, just like, you know, you're doing with your polisher. Just get some product on the pad. You're going to want to go in a crosshatch, you know, pattern. So down. Then you're going to want to go back up. Super simple, super easy, not as daunting as it makes it seem. So tired. I understand why detailers charge a lot for this service. We're done. That's over with. Ceramic coating, done. All right, so the coating is officially on there and now it's curing to the paint. And this thing's looking pretty darn good. She's looking nice and glossy. Now it's at this point that it's really important that you're like, oh, I spent all that time making this thing look beautiful. I want to take it outside, take some pictures. Don't. Let it sit in the garage, let it cure for like 24 hours, and then you can take it out. Don't get any water on it, don't get any rain on it. Like I would take it out right now, but it's raining outside, so that would be dumb. So I'll come back tomorrow, we'll pull this thing out of the garage, we'll see how it looks in the sunlight, and then we'll get some beauty shots, and this thing's going away for the winter. But man, I'll tell you what, dude, the paint on this thing is beautiful. I mean, like minus all like the rock chips and all the chips here and there, it is a 40-year-old truck. All right, well, there you have it. We got a ceramic coated 1978 Ford F-100. This is actually light jade, I think the paint color is. After like 12 hours of work, we're finally done, and I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out. Obviously, we don't have great lighting to be able to show you guys the beauty of this paint, but it looks good, so I'm pretty stoked. So we're gonna end the video there. I wanna thank you guys for watching that video, and if it was something that was really boring to you, I apologize, but it was something that I needed to do, so I might as well film it. Expect to see some E35 cylinder build updates from me, and for now, I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you go check out Avalon King for all your ceramic coating needs. Subscribe, like the video, do the stuff, and I will see you guys later. Okay, good night. I love you.